Hello, so we're going to explore how to use PyCharm to build PySide interfaces in this introduction to tool development using PySide. So the first thing we're going to do is create a project. And this is going to be a continuing project which we're going to explore over a few episodes. So I'm going to go new project and replace the default with Dojo. So there's just going to be a virtual environment of Venv. It's going to be based on, I've chosen Python 3.9. I'm going to create that in a new window. And right here, we've got our base folder. We've got this .ven folder. In this .ven folder, we've got our Python engine. And this contains everything we need to run Python. And but we haven't got PyCharm, so to create interfaces we need PyCharm. So this is how we bring PyCharm into our project. So the root of Dojo, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call this requirements. This is a very standard file to put at the root of a project. Inside requirements, I'm going to add PySide6. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring up this tool window. Can open up terminal, and we are going to install our requirements. So pip install -r for requirements, and the name of our requirements text file, and if I press return, that's now installed. Everything is found in this requirements file. If I open up the virtual environment, go into the lib, you'll see that PySide6 has been added to the actual list of software in this site packages folder. So that's great. So now we're going to create a widget to test this out. I'm going to create a new Python package. I'm going to call it widgets, because we're going to create a bunch of widgets in this folder. So this is just our first widget. And I'm going to call this generic widget. So first thing I do here is from PySide6.qt widgets import qwidget. And we're going to create some other widgets as well. We're going to create a button, qpush button, and qlabel, and qvbox layout. These are all the widgets that we're going to create initially for our test widget. So let's create our widget here. I'm going to call it generic widget, and it's going to inherit from qwidget. And just ignore all that for the moment. This is the AI coding within PyCharm that does a lot of guesswork for you, but sometimes you don't want that, so we just want something very basic here. So we're going to create, in our generic widget, we are going to create a layout. Self.set layout, and it's the qvbox layout. So that's this layout here. The layout is the container that contains all our child widgets. So it's going to contain our button and our label. So we're going to create a button here. Q push button. Click. Yep. And we're going to create a label. Q label. Label. We're going to add these to the layout, and you can see here that PyCharm has already worked out that I'm going to do that, so I'm going to press tab, and that added a button on our label. So let's see if this works. So I'm going to create a main block. If name equals main, and the thing about a main block, this is a piece of code that gets executed only if I run this script directly. So if I imported this script to another script, then it wouldn't run. So they're really good for just doing test functions. And in order to get a widget to work, I've got to put it into a PySide application. So I'm going to create that application here from PySide Qt widgets, import Q application. Now I could have put this up here, but the Q application is not going to be part of our widget. It's just part of our test framework at the bottom. So I don't want to do that. So app equals Q application. I don't need to add any arguments. The assumption is here that we add arguments. That's the assumption that the AI is making, but we don't want to do that. And I'm going to create our widget. Widget is generate widget, and I'm going to show our widget. And that, we're going to run that now and see if there's any problems. So run that. So nothing's happened yet. That's because we've got one more line to add. We need to go app.execute, or the actual PySide application doesn't start. So try that one more time. There we go. So there is our test widget. So we know that our environment works. So that's great. So we just need a few finishing touches for our widget, just to make it a bit more complete. We're gonna set the title. Title string, and self.set window title, and it's going to get that from the title value, like that. Wonder why that's doesn't like that, does it? Oh, I know why. I put this into the wrong place. That needs to go in here. There we go. And also, I thought it was a little bit small, the widget. So, our generic widget. I'm gonna call it test widget. Let's run that. Yes, it's a bit small at the moment, so because we can't sort of read all the text at the top. So the other thing we can do is we can actually change the size. Self.resize, and it's going to be 200 cross, and size hint of the height. That means that whatever height it is, it just takes the default height, but we're going to make it 200 across, so we'll run that. So that's great. Let's try our button. Well, the button, it doesn't do anything at the moment, so that's the final thing we're going to do. We're going to add an event to the button. So self dot, oh, we don't even need to do that. So button dot clicked dot connect. Let's make a quick function. And this is our function here. This lambda function takes that label and it sets the text to clicked when we click it. Let's run this now. Click, and there you go. So let's recap what we've done with this project. We've created a new Python project called Dojo. We've created a requirements file which allows us to install all the modules we need for the project, and we've used the terminal to actually install those requirements, and then finally we've created a test widget with a button and a label just to test that our environment works. So that's the first part of this journey in creating modular PySide tools, and hope you've enjoyed it. So subscribe if you want to find out more about building widgets, and I will see you the next time. Thank you very much.